Michaux was a Belgian poet and artist. He is known for his experiments with calligraphy in the 1950s and 60s in a non-verbal way, creating pieces and drawings that do not refer to a poem or any writing, but the creator's emotions. He is associated with the Tachiste movement. This movement is considered similar to abstract expressionism and is a style of abstract painting popular in the 1940s and 50s. Between 1930 and 1931, Michaux travelled to Japan, China and India. The influence of Asian culture is evident in his work, and his use of materials such as Chinese inks. Buddhist philosophy and calligraphy became inspiration for many of his poems and drawings. Michaux used visual works to explore his intuition and subconsciousness. This process can be associated with asemic writing, in which the result may not be read in the traditional sense of reading. The work is built from both pictorial and symbolic works, a fusion of image and text. However, this methodology allows for a wider understanding across multiple languages, as it may be read in a similar way. This artwork may be thought of as a new language spanning the verbal. The drawings are calligraphic in character, using marks that suggest writing. The works are always very detailed, especially earlier pieces. Michaux described fighting with these blots, likening them to knots of force which are designed never to take form. I invite you to join me creating your own visual work inspired by the work of Michaux. I will demonstrate creating ink using a traditional ink stick and ink stone. An ink stick is made of the soot of burnt woods compressed together using a binder. The stick is then ground into an ink stone along with some water, which allows the soot to be suspended, creating an ink solution. Using this process, the artist has full control over the saturation of the ink's blackness. In this section of the video, I'll be showing you how I prepare my traditional calligraphy or sumi painting inks. So sumi is Japanese ink painting. So you use an ink stick and an ink stone along with a small amount of water. You can use whatever ink you have available to you. Some paints will also be able to be watered down to a more fluid consistency, which will work well when creating this kind of work. The process of actually grinding down the ink takes about 15 to 20 minutes. It took me about 15 minutes today. So hence I've sped it up a little so you don't have to watch the full process, but that's what you sort of go through if you want to create traditional style inks. During the last phase of my ink making, I keep testing it out using a paintbrush to test how saturated the water is with the ink particle solution, and I just keep going until it's as dark a consistency as I would like. Once you're ready to begin painting or drawing your image, I started off by having a reference photo of Michaux's work, just as kind of an idea of sort of the ways and the marks that he used to create. I also had some music on because this I find really helps to make me less conscious of the marks that I'm making. I kind of dissolve more into the subconscious and listen more to the music and kind of think more about freeing my hand and where my hand's moving, but not particularly the marks that it's making. So it just kind of becomes area of space and area of marks within space. It's quite an interesting thing. I really do recommend this exercise because it really frees up your hand, and you'll notice as you watch the video I end up going further and further up the paintbrush and I get looser and looser with the precision of my strokes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not sort of controlled. It's kind of a hybrid of control and lack of control, and understanding sort of where to hold your paintbrush to make it do the things that you want to do. It takes practice, and it's just really fun and very, very freeing and incredibly mindful, because you're working so quickly you can't think of anything else. So I do recommend giving this a good go. first exercise so much that I decided to repeat it, and this is something I do recommend doing because I thought it was really interesting. I removed all of the references of Michaux's work and simply had the music, ink, paintbrush, my hand and the paper, and I found that this time it reflected much more of my artistic style and much more of myself as an artist within the work. So the lines became much more fluid and curved and much more natural. So I use a lot of nature in my art and I look at nature a lot of the time, and I felt that that was present. So I thought it was quite interesting how removing the reference sort of loosened up the hand in a different way, but something you might want to give a go. I hope you've enjoyed learning about Henri Michaux and that you enjoy creating your own painting language.